it's almost impossible to give you all the details, but we give you the overall summary. And we have two basic assumptions. First, that each one of us has an unlimited potential that we limit with our subconscious acceptance of limitation. That if we can undo these subconscious concepts of limitation, what would be left over is the unlimited individual that we are. The second assumption is the basic law of this universe is harmony. It operates for the planets, it operates much more so for the animals, and is almost absent for man. And the reason for that is this subconscious programming that's holding it away from us. What we need to do is to get this constant involvement with the subconscious direction out of our way. And then this tremendous potential that is available to every one of us is usable by each and every one of us. We are now spending 99% of the time with our conscious mind holding down all the suppressed accumulation of feelings from the past. If all our anger came up at one time, we would be totally out of control. We might damage someone, and therefore we must necessarily hold down all that accumulated anger. The same with grief. If all our grief came up at once, we would be overwhelmed with grief to the point we wouldn't have control of ourselves. And this goes for all the emotions. There is so much of an accumulation of all these feelings from the past that we have to spend the major part of our time holding down these pressures. And I call them pressures because every subconscious feeling is wanting to come up and spend itself. And we are very careful lest it come up and get out of control. Now when these subconscious pushes and pulls and drives are dumped, we find ourselves completely at peace. No thoughts in our mind. No feelings except when we want a thought or want a feeling. And then by free choice, we put a feeling or thought into our mind and we carry it out. The before picture is we are being driven by our subconscious programming. The after picture is our mind is quiet, and only when we choose to put a thought or a feeling in do we do so. And we choose to use feelings in order to communicate with others. So whereas before we were a slave to our feelings, after our feelings are slaves to us. Our problem today is that the accumulation of the subconscious programming is so heavy, so extreme, we are just drowning in it. And we need a way of undoing this that is very effective. There are many ways being put out to dump this subconscious garbage. But we have discovered a way that is not known to the world yet by getting to the basics underneath it and undoing the basic so that it's like cutting the roots. We cut the roots and the majority of feelings go with it. It is a very effective method. It is a very simple method. We do give you a total picture of mind and feelings and how they operate. We give you a chart that becomes a chart of your subconscious mind that relates thought and feelings, how they relate to each other, how superficial feelings will subbase into fewer feelings that we call emotions, and how the emotions will subbase into two feelings that if we attack it there, we can undo all the feelings. It is so basic, it is extremely effective. Now there's a very interesting thing happens. As we rid ourselves of our subconscious drives, something takes its place. And that something is the thing we are all seeking, and we call that thing love. Our basic inherent nature is all love, only love. And it is covered over and smothered by our suppressed feelings. That as we dump these subconscious feelings, we become more and more loving. And as we become loving, the harmony of the universe that is there all the time begins to manifest for ourselves. As we dump these subconsciously suppressed feelings, everything in life gets better. We don't have to go for particular goals, although we may. Everything gets better. That is the nature of the world. It is harmony. I have given you quite a short encapsulation presentation, but I think if we open the floor to questions, we can relate directly to you and give you a better understanding. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and we will do our best to answer whatever your question is. Yes?
What is your technique?
It's a technique of first showing you the totality of mind, emotions, and how it all relates. It's a technique of getting your subconscious mind from out back there where you don't see it, right out in front of you, so you can work with it. It shows you the four things we can do with emotions, feelings. The worst thing we do, of course, is suppress it. The next worst thing, or better, is escape it, movies and so forth. The third thing we can do, which is the beginning of a relief from the suppression, the third thing is express the feeling or the emotion. And the fourth thing is the thing that we work on. It is dumping the suppressed emotions. So when you see that whole picture, the picture of your mind, and you have your mind really down there, you'll be surprised what's in there, but when it's on a paper and on a chart in front of you, it charts the whole thing, where you are, where you need to go, and it gives you the whole method right on that chart. It's experiential.
Well, the psychiatrist can spend a better part of a person's lifetime delving into his mind and coming away after 15 years maybe finding nothing or very little. How can you in 30 hours bring out a person's entire subconscious?
Because I myself had been with psychology, psychiatry from the 20s up until 52. I studied all the psychologies. I started with Pavlovian, Watson's behaviorism, through Freud up until the present time. I had 4 years of psychoanalysis under an associate of Freud, not alive today, 4 times a week. I've been through all that, and I never got the answers through the psychiatric approach. Their goal was to adjust me to my environment. I didn't get the answer there. I got worse and worse and worse. After I had my second heart attack, I had enough incentive to get the answers. I had to get the answers. I discovered by getting within myself in a period of 3 months' time that each one of us is a being with no limits. Psychiatry doesn't know this yet, but I discovered it for me. If it's for me, it's for everyone. Whatever I went through, anyone can go through. By taking that way, I discovered we are beings that have no limits. And once you see the total picture, you see what the mind is. You see, the psychiatric world has a difficult time explaining mind, happiness, and so forth. I can tell you what it is. It's so simple. Your mind is the sum total collection of all your thoughts and feelings, period. Now, the majority of them we're holding subconsciously.
Well, how do you release these?
Because
it's that simple.
It's simple, but we are so conditioned to use almost our total attention to keep our feelings suppressed. We have to bypass your habit of your lifetime to take you through it again and again, experiencing you in it so that you know what it is through experience. The answers will never be gotten through your reasoning mind is one thing you learn. You probably know it today, right? You can't get the answers through your logical mind. I tried. Not only did I study the field of psychiatry, but I studied all the philosophies. I even studied medicine, economics, every field of man trying to get the answers to no avail. I reached the point where I was at the end of the line. They told me I might die any day. Then I realized that all the accumulated knowledge that I had gotten over so many years, reading textbook after textbook, was of no use. That I had to drop all that and sort of start from scratch. Then I discovered this method, that it's not in the reasoning mind, it's in understanding the feelings. It's in understanding what suppressed feelings are, how to get a handle on them, get them up, and actually dump them. I would have to take you through it. I could talk forever and never explain it to you because it's experiential, like trying to tell you what an orange tastes like. I can't explain it to you. If I gave you the orange and you ate it, you would know. It's something we have to take you through. I would love to.
A lot of truisms, which I'm sure we all agree with. But I remember for years I used to be a salesman, and I realized in order to sell my product, I had to write a blog, conversation, or demonstration, or whatever. You haven't sold me. I mean, you haven't given me enough to say. Check for X amount of dollars. You're asking me to go on, blind faith. I'm quite sure you believe in everything that's saying. But you haven't given me enough to hang my hat on.
You're right. You're right. And I'm telling you, it's something that I cannot prove to you. The only proof, the real proof, would have to be your taking it, of course. The next best proof is talking to someone that you know and have confidence in who has been through it. The third proof would be what you pick up from me. I cannot sell it like an external product. It is a subjective science. It is a science. And there's no external presentation of it. It's the going through it, the experiencing of it, that proves it to you. And one of my basic principles is believe nothing until you can prove it for yourself. I am handicapped by that. So therefore I say the best thing now would be to talk to those who have been through it, especially people that you know. See, we came to New York only last February, and just by word of mouth that we kept going and growing. Because the ones who have been through it got their friends to come in.
This unlimited being that you are, that you speak of, do you see that in terms of spirit, separate from body, or part of the body?
Unlimited means unlimited in every direction, including the body.
Would you be more
more concrete or specific?
Are they, today there are enough stories of these people, especially from the East, the yogis, who do these unusual things, islanders in the Pacific Islands who run over hot coals and don't burn their feet. All these unusual things show the inner potential that we have. And there's many of us who occasionally experience something most unusual that happens that has no rational explanation. The unusual is being shown to us more and more every day, even on TV and through the media. So I feel as though I'm talking about something that is known today. 10 years ago, no.
But well, the yogi is someone who has had a very special kind of background and experience that has directed him specifically. But we all here have a different kind of background and a different kind of experience. His life has prepared him for that specific limitlessness relative to our limitedness. But our lives are necessarily lives of limitedness. Right now, as I sit here, I am limited by this situation in my social training and background. Now, if I wanted to delimit myself, I would have to violate the bounds and codes of social limitation. I may feel an impulse to be myself, but then I would be going against the whole force and inertia of all our conditioning and programming. So I don't get up on the floor and do my bad imitation of pirouette.
Nor do you break space-time continuum.
Nor do I what?
Nor do you break the space-time continuum. And if this unlimited being is unlimited, then there is no limitation to space nor time, and you transcend those limitations. Now, have you been able to do that? Is that part of your process?
I have experienced some of it.
You've broken the space-time continuum.
I have experienced some of it. Now, we don't expect you to fly out the window from our doors. We say to you, you will begin to break the limitations. Your life will get better.
Well,
The harmony that is natural begins to manifest.
the limitations that he was talking about are these space-time limitations.
Yeah.
Can I say something about it? See, we're getting into an area that is, for most of us, very speculative. I mean, you believe it or you don't believe it, and it gets into a lot of intellectual concepts about it, etc., etc. And what would happen if I were unlimited, then I would have to break the social bonds and so on. Not necessarily, but that's beside the point. The point is that the method we have is practical. It isn't asking you to accept pie in the sky. It isn't asking you to fly out the window. It isn't asking you to even go so far as to break the space-time whatever, because if you want to do that, you can use the method to get yourself to that place where you can do that. But most of us don't care about that. Really, most people don't give a hoot about that. What they really want is to be able to make their lives work and be happy and not be miserable and not be pushed around by the world anymore. And that we can offer you, and that you can start doing the first day with our method, because it's practical. It's used in the world. It's used in when somebody gets you upset, bang, you use it right then. You don't have to wait till you go home. You don't have to go on a shrink's couch. You can just use it now, right now when the thing is happening. It's very practical. So all of the other talk is nice and nice theory, and it's beautiful to think about, and it's a wonderful thing to have as a goal, but it's not, we're talking with our method, it's practical.
We begin to
Sure.
delimit.
Sure, I'm sure they will.
May I ask this question? I agree with most of the things you've said. However, I didn't understand what you meant about some of the cultural things that people do as being an escape necessarily and limiting them from really being their own selves. For instance, film, theater.
No, I said an escape from our feelings.
They may not be. They may be strictly cultural things
Could
and
be.
may not be covering.
You're right.
I can see a person, even with your method, when they finally are able to enjoy life, doing even more of those things in a more happy way.
Yes, look, I agree with you. It could be. It doesn't have to be, as you said. Right. All right, now, what we do is set out some basic principles. And as I said, we're not going to tell you you're going to fly. But we tell you your life will begin to get better in many aspects. You will increase your happiness. You will increase your well-beingness. You will get quieter and calmer in your everyday life. These things you will do.
I'd like to say something about, I know we have some performers here tonight, some actors or performers, and I'd like to just say a few words about that aspect because I know some of you are here. One of the problems in performing is the uptightness we get when we have to go on stage. That can be eliminated. Another problem with performing or getting into a performing situation are auditions. Those things can be handled. You can use the method before the audition, you can use the method during the audition, you can use the method after the audition. It's usable, it's practical. And another aspect of the performing area is in feelings. Actors use their feelings. Singers use their feelings. The more feeling you have, the more effective you can be as a performer, whatever your craft may be. Musicians also. Now, what we say is that most of the time you have to work around your suppressed feelings that are pushing you. You get uptight about the audience, about some guy in the audience that's falling asleep or talking to somebody while you're trying to perform, and to the degree that you get involved with what's going on out there, your performance suffers. Okay, you have to work around your own feelings in order to perform. We say get those compulsive feelings out of the way, and you open the channel for that creative energy to flow so beautifully. You don't lose your feelings. You only widen your range. You don't lose anything. You only gain. You gain mastery over your instrument. You can take a feeling that's required for a part and bang, you've got it. You don't have to go into your childhood to figure out what you're going to use to get you that feeling. You don't have to be afraid to experience anger on stage because you're afraid you're going to really hurt the person you're playing opposite. You don't have to work around your own feelings. You can dump those compulsive feelings, the ones that scare the heck out of you. And then you're free to have any feeling you want, any time you want, to whatever degree you want. So I know we have some performers here, and I wanted to include that for that particular group of our gathering tonight.
To sum it up, we are now working around our own subconscious pushes and pulls. When they're out of our way, as a performer, we can put whatever feeling we want into action to whatever intensity that we want for as long as we want, and when we're finished with it, we drop it as though it never was and can go into an entirely opposite feeling with ease. When the subconscious feelings are out of our way, we are in total control of our feelings.
Do you think this will replace psychiatry? Do you think your method will or should replace psychiatry?
It will not replace psychiatry because people want psychiatry. It is extremely more effective than psychiatry, yes.
Well, as I understand what you're doing is pointing out limitations to the imperfections and the removal of these limitations through the emotional transplantation here to the perfection. And that when we utilize these methods, we'll then have a perfection of these abilities and of these things, which is already our perfect being. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, we move in that direction. As we get the limitations out of our way, we are less and less limited.
And that's perfection.
It's moving toward it.
And that already exists, only we're not aware of it. Is that what you're saying?
It's our potential.
In other words, it already doesn't exist, we have to build it.
We have to get the blocks out of the way for that potential to manifest.
And it does already exist.
Potential's there.
The potential exists, yes.
How
I think we're into semantics.
Yeah.
Excuse me. How long have you been working on your own particular case? Excuse your own particular situation.
May I say something maybe to verify a couple questions that he's been bringing up? Now, I understand this is mind freedom, right? That's what you're projecting here, right?
Right.
Okay, as far as what they have been asking you. Okay, it's all about self, right? Becoming aware of self. That's what the subconscious mind is all about, right? Okay, now, when you come about to come aware of self, you must give up a whole lot of things. That's what you were saying earlier about to come in harmony with love. Okay, in order to love, you must be hated. There's a balancer for everything. For negative forces, there are positive forces. But you need both forces to create energy, right? Okay, now, my personal viewpoint, my personal life, I'm 26 years old. I'm from Ohio, Dayton, Ohio. I've been up here for 5 weeks now. Okay, I have, when you say an actor, I am an actor. But I'm not on the silver screen. I act every day out here on the street or a building or whatever. Because I program my subconscious mind to do anything I want to do. Okay, my mission of coming to New York City, I had 10 natural fingernails, as long as these. These are my natural nails. Okay, and in order for any individual, not male or female, to grow natural nails like this, he must be in tune. So it's all about the mind. Whatever you want, you can program your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind will find these things that you're looking for. And this is what freedom is all about. In order to become free, you must be locked in. And your body it's all about the mind, it's all about the physical, but you must always believe that the spiritual controls all of that.
Have you taken the course?
Spirit. Please?
Have you taken the course?
Taking the course of what? Life?
No.
This is the first time I've been up here.
Are you teaching your own course?
No, I'm just answering some questions and asking some, sir. Now, where are you employed at? Are you employed?
No.
You self-employed?
Let's not get involved in these things.
I'd like to find out about this.
All right.
It's
All right,
all about the mind.
We accept what you say as being what you see, what you do, and it sounds good to me. Okay?
It sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now, I would like to answer your question.
You're the originator of this, so
Yes.
you've been working on your own personal situation for a while.
Yes.
I don't mean to be offensive, but you don't look that happy.
What I gained.
Nothing succeeds like success, and
Right.
you don't look that happy.